So this is week 3 with Script Dr. X. I'm TC. Thanks for joining me again.
100%. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So we are working on this, developing this TV series concept, Fat City. And if you haven't followed along before, we'll do a little bit of review from last week's character development, and I think we'll all get caught up pretty quick. So yeah, Fat City just in general is a story about a husband and a wife, a young husband and wife in 1950s New Orleans, and they end up creating a first of its kind reality television show. And so I have some character development pages that X had. X, you shared kind of a template with some details that I filled in for Bob and Nancy.
Oh,
are
no.
the husband and wife. Yeah. But first I'm going to try, I was trying to figure out, remember last week we were talking about, okay, so they're in New Orleans, but they're not really from New Orleans. They're a young couple that moved there and they're just kind of getting their start. So after doing some research, I think I decided to make them from Oklahoma City. And what really sold me on that idea was this video made for Oklahoma City in the 1950s. And it's the Oklahoma City Council, I believe, that, or the Oklahoma Archives that have it. It says, yeah, Oklahoma Film and Video Archives. And they say you can purchase a non-watermarked high-resolution file from them, but I think we could share just a couple of little snippets from this YouTube video and just take a look at what I was seeing. So let me share my screen. I think I could share it with audio, and we'll just watch like less than a minute's worth of it, just kind of skip around. I want to show you some of the highlights. So share screen. Actually, let me set myself up a little bit first. That way I'm not sharing them. Nah, it's okay. I can share that. Who cares? Share. All right. So you can see my whole screen, right?
Yep.
Okay. Did it? There's a setting to share with audio. I don't know. Can you hear that?
No.
Okay, hold on. Let me just redo the share. I know there was like a setting for share. I think I have to, let's see, share. Oh yeah, share sound. There it is. Optimized for video clip. I don't need to do that. All right, so I think this time it'll work.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so this is like a video. Can you hear me okay too? The sound at the same time?
A little bit. I can kind of do the both. Can you lower the volume on the YouTube video, like in the YouTube itself?
How's that?
You know, with the little slider on the YouTube?
What better way to describe Oklahoma City than a city on the run?
Oh, you probably can't see it
on the
anymore.
move.
Did I lower my microphone too?
There you go. Yeah, that guy.
Just do the slider.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I'm lowering my volume, but oh no, it kind of that is what it is. Okay.
You're only lowering the video. You should be okay.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So whatever. This is a little intro. I thought it was interesting. So what they're saying is Oklahoma City is mostly like a big suburban city, right?
Or in the larger ones.
There's larger ones and smaller houses. So we got that idea of, you know, the husband and wife came from like two different like wealth statuses, I guess. I think Nancy comes from one of the bigger houses.
The way our city is laid out.
Okay, I like that.
Every
Right.
section of town has its own shopping center.
So they're talking about the shopping centers. Now, what I thought was interesting is when you actually
anyone else
go
dream
and
that wouldn't
talk
usually
to-
the world depend. They like sunshine,
Let's see.
blue,
There's definitely some dialogue
and
here.
in their skill.
They're showing the
About
industry and
system
stuff.
as there is anywhere, and the livestock from this and most other
It was
south,
earlier.
east or west. There are not many more minutes than
It's interesting to see how much was already set up back then, though.
Yeah. I know it was earlier in the video. I think it's just here. Yeah.
along with the new neighbors. We're mighty proud of our neighborhood folks. You buildings of them. Section. Some others of you as well. They want to anywhere, but most.
Where is he talking to the people?
When the thing grow shake.
Well,
And the folk against them, A&R or the nation. Again, it's
so there's the
that make-
farming all
Here's the
around
activity.
Oklahoma City.
Rainbows are- have-
I think
I
maybe
can't say well for
Bob's
the youngsters
family
because grown-ups visit the zoo
has,
as often as anybody.
you know,
But
been there,
seriously,
maybe came
you
from
show
the
me a
farms
city that takes a
originally.
lot of care
I'm
about
debating on his
conversations. Again, they're right in thousands of youngsters play under
father
it
possibly
someday.
even being like a
There's
Presbyterian
always
minister,
plenty to do at
maybe.
university.
I don't know.
Okay. No, I dig it. Definitely religious, right?
Maybe, yeah,
There's
probably
medical centers,
religious.
cancer.
Would it be mom? His mom being more of the like religious type and dad going along with it? Or do you think dad's the like
I think the dad might be the minister, but that goes kind of against what we were thinking, that he was kind of like a deadbeat dad, but I guess it doesn't have to be. I mean, he could be like, you know,
he could be more into the church?
more into the church than his family, you know, even
Instead of a deadbeat dad, there's also an absentee dad.
absentee might be better.
Mm-hmm.
A better way to say it. I cannot find, I don't know
Oh.
when they talked to the people. I guess it's this. Yeah, so they're moving in.
Hi there. Well, hi.
Oh,
Glad to have you
Mostly
folks in the
just checking
neighborhood.
on the accent.
to be here.
Mm-hmm.
First time in Oklahoma City?
Yes, it is.
My company transferred me here from up north.
So they're from up
Good,
north.
Okay, Tommy, that is
I don't know what that means
fine.
exactly.
Oh, that's all right. I think everyone wonders about their new home, don't they?
This guy here is a
Hey,
local.
when you get all
so-
moved in and settled, why don't we get in my car and I'll take you around and
Get a
show
real
you the-
kind of plain voice. It's not like, you know, and you read about Oklahoma and it's like, it's not the West, not the East, not the South, it's not the North, you know, so it could just kind of.
Is it part of the Midwest or is it part of the Southwest?
It's not even. Yeah, it's
Is it
just kind of like in the
mid?
middle. It's so middle of everything that it.
It's Oklahoma, straight middle America.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, that's enough of that for now. I'm gonna open that document now.
Yeah, let's look.
All right, so
You actually filled out a bunch of stuff.
I did. I got most of it. I got all of Nancy, and I think I got, yeah. So Nancy, 22, female, Jewish, co-host of Fat City, and the casting manager.
Okay.
Receptionist at a realtor's office, Oklahoma City. Grew up in a larger upper middle class home. Hobbies are singing, dancing, cheerleading. Work histories, after school activities in high school. So she didn't really have a job, but then she started working for the realtor freshman year of college. So I have her going to 3 years of Newcomb College, which was the Women's College of Tulane College in New Orleans. So I think she's going to actually go to New Orleans and know about the city more than he does. He's kind of left behind. And their parents disapprove. She comes from a Jewish family. His father is a Presbyterian minister. They have two different, classes, social classes. So So she's from the richer family, and he's from a, like, a poorer family, I guess. I don't know if the father's going to be the minister or not. I have to look into that more. I have her down as Democrat and Girl Scouts. I don't know affiliation. I'm just trying to think of. I mean, these aren't set in stone, but just kind of ideas. Work environment. She's the only one that knows everything going on at the realtor's office. So that puts her, like, even though she's like, the lowest level employee, she also happens to be kind of in charge of everything. So that's how she's able to get the keys,
Yeah, she would kind of know. She would probably just see them sitting there the whole time, right?
Yeah, and she's gonna know if anybody's gonna need them or go. She could even, like, she schedules appointments for the realtors to go there. So she's like in complete control, basically. So criminal record, I put caught drinking on campus, parents disapproved, suspended from university. So that's an idea. And yeah. Social status is riches to rags. Private life, she wants to affect social change.
Okay.
Personal life, she loves Bob. That's what I got.
Loves Bob.
5'6", well presented and easygoing, no scars, nice clothing, slender, strawberry hair, hazel eyes, great stamina and agility, tough, very pretty. Voice is sweet yet powerful. And she's talented and agile. She's afraid of random violence, always has her guard up. She's prejudiced against old women.
Good. I mean, just kidding.
I don't know. I was just trying to think, maybe
that's funny though.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, she's kind of weary of them. Maybe.
I mean, if we look into the psychology of stuff, right? So random violence, right, always has her guard up. So, a good question is why? Why does she have her guard up, right? So like these would all be basically like experiences that she's had. So like she's afraid of violence because, like, was there violence in the house? Was there violence in the family? Was there just violence in the neighborhood? Or is it because she's never been around violence that when she is around it, it scares her?
I don't know exactly yet. I mean, it could have something just to do with she's Jewish, and
or like could her grandmother be violent?
Her grandmother?
Yeah, like old Jewish grandmother, violent.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
That would make sense why she doesn't like old women.
Well, I mean, that could be different than the phobia itself. Could be. I was just thinking maybe there is some kind of, the fact that the Holocaust had just happened during her childhood.
Yeah, that's true too. She's always been American.
Yeah.
How long?
So I had some research links here. It said Oklahoma history, Jewish settlers came in. I mean, they've been around since the 1890s. So her family could have been like early settlers in Oklahoma. And then it did say Jews of German origin were wealthier and more acculturated. So I have her down as a German Jewish ancestry versus the Eastern European Jewish immigration. And it said something here about the German Jewish reform movement. Is this it? I believe it was German reform is the typical Jewish faith from that area, if you're of the German Jewish ancestry. So, which I don't know if that's exactly like, I think reform is kind of the least strict form of Judaism. I'm not sure about exactly German Jewish stuff. So, they may be like, they're still gonna follow all the holidays and everything, but I think culturally they might be less strict about certain things, more
Not as traditional.
yeah, not as traditional, not orthodox, not even conservative, right? It's I believe. I mean, I'll have to look into this more.
How much do they practice? You know what I mean? Like, is it like just Sundays or like Saturdays when they go to church?
Probably, yeah. They probably still do, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I
They
can
might not even be exactly fully practicing. Every family's different, I guess. But what were you gonna say?
I could see her as she got older,
Mhm.
rebelling a little bit against it. Not in a bad way, but just not
Mhm.
wanting to go, wanting to do other activities and whatnot, and pulling away. Do you think?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and that goes with her possibly wanting to affect social change. I think I had her
Mhm.
down for that. A lot of after school activities, So
Would she have been involved in student government?
she does actually have ambitions to become president.
Right.
So maybe. I didn't
Okay.
really put that in, but that could be something. Personal problems, lack of money, very smart. Secrets is she lies to her parents, so that kind of ties into that too.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that Bob maybe went to go visit her in New Orleans. They were like sneaking around together. Neither of their families approved in high school. And so going down to Bob, did I miss anything? I put her down as chaotic good
I
or
like
moral.
that. I like
Maybe
that.
maybe she has an alcohol addiction, possibly. She had that drinking incident.
Do you think either of them would have a superstition of like ghosts?
I don't know. I didn't think of that. I did put down when Bob's superstition is only for fun. Let me look at Bob. I'll tell you a little bit more
Okay,
about
let's
him.
go.
So Bob, 21, so he's a year younger. Okay. Male, European background. I have him down as Irish and French, but mainly just Oklahoman, I think, would be his family is just always from Oklahoma for generations now.
Okay.
He's the co-host of Fat City, camera and producer. Okay, so camera clerk at a camera shop, Oklahoma City, lower middle class family. His hobbies are reading, trivia, photography, and film. His work history is a cashier at a grocery and school store in high school. So maybe that was like, oops. He was kind of like knew all the students because he would be at the school store, like the cashier there. So it's not exactly making him super popular, but he was popular in that regard. High school graduate is his highest level of education. Irish and French, no political views, no affiliations. Runs the camera store alone, and he speaks with the owner about once a week. So he's in a similar situation. He
Yeah.
basically has his run of the camera shop. That's how he can get all the equipment. No criminal record. He's nerdy social status. I don't know if that is a good term, but that's the way I could describe it. I didn't get him down for anything private or personal life yet. 5'11", a little messy appearance. Coke bottle glasses is his only defect, I think.
Mhm.
Simple clothing, skinny build, dark brown hair and eyes. He's quick, average strength, nerdy again for attractiveness, muted voice quality. I didn't know. Yeah, so I have him down fears of public speaking and rejection. So it's ironic that he's going to be a host of a TV show, but he doesn't
That
really set
work,
out.
right?
He doesn't set out. He wants to be behind the camera more, but
Yeah.
he doesn't realize it's going to be a TV show. He just thinks he's like filming home videos and experimenting with things. And
But you know what? That sets up a really good dynamic for him, right? Because he is going to be in front of the camera. He's going to have to, his voice quality is going to have to change from muted to vocal or whatever it is.
right.
He's going to have to get over his fear of public speaking and rejection.
Mhm.
Right. But I also see, because he wanted more to be behind the scenes or behind the camera, etc., that all of the action in front of the camera could cause him a little bit of stress. I don't know how much, but you know what I mean? Like anxiety or whatever comes into play. Like it might just get to be too much for him. And that can be interesting too. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, like I really see Nancy being the strong one, at least at the start, right?
Yeah,
And then,
definitely.
right. And then, I mean, usually in whenever like somebody starts strong and somebody starts weak, those
Mhm.
roles flip at some point
Mhm.
because of an incident. Like something could happen in Nancy's family where it affects her, right? To the degree of like, let's say she has family members, like a little sister dies, right? Something that crushes her to a degree, and Bob has to step up,
Okay.
right? But that we can get to that.
Yeah, and I don't think. I mean, yeah, that's good background and maybe plot line for future episodes, but I don't know if their home history isn't even that relevant. It's all more about them and what they're doing in New Orleans, I
But that's
believe.
what I mean. I mean,
Yeah.
like while they're filming, like imagine this, okay? So
Mhm.
they're filming, we go behind the scenes, and it's like, Nancy, you have a phone call.
Mhm.
You don't hear anything, you don't see anything, you just sort of see her sit down, right? You see her get a little bit more
Right.
and more upset. And Bob notices you know, and then you find
Mhm.
out throughout the other like the episodes coming
Mhm.
about what happened, but she has to have like a strong front in front of the camera.
Yeah.
But Bob takes the load of it, right? And that's just an idea. That doesn't have to happen.
So, and that might fit in, but I was thinking that they're estranged from their families.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not
Would they be
fully.
estranged from everyone though, or just the parents?
I don't know. We haven't gone into what other family members they have,
Right.
you know. So what I'm thinking is that that's why they lose their apartment, is because actually I guess the father would have been paying for her apartment because she was going to school down there,
Right.
or she was
And
in a
she gets
dorm. She was probably in
suspended.
a dorm at first, and then,
Right.
I don't know, maybe because junior year she got her own place, and I don't really know. I mean, back then maybe they stayed in dorms the whole time. Um, but I think it would make sense that her father finds out that Bob has moved in with her, and he just like won't pay the rent. He's like, I don't approve. And
Oh, what if we play on the idea that she either gets suspended from school
mhm,
or drops out from school but doesn't tell her family,
yeah,
right? So they're continuously paying for this place. She's because she lies to her parents.
right,
She continuously tells them that she's doing this, doing that, and eventually they find out that she's no longer in school.
right,
And they're like, "You have to come home." And she's like,
right.
"I'm not
Yeah,
coming home."
I'm not coming home. Yeah.
And she
And
finds,
that's right. That's right. When Bob decides I'm going to move down there with you.
yeah,
So that's why she's not going to come home, because Bob just
he might be there for a couple of weeks already.
something like that. Yeah. I mean, I guess it wouldn't matter too much, but they don't want to go back to Oklahoma City.
No,
And that's the other thing that's a bit interesting. Like, Oklahoma City looks nice, but I don't know. I didn't really look to see what the downtown was like, but it seems like more of like it's just lots of suburbs, right? So
Hmm.
it's not going to be as exciting for young people as New Orleans, So um,
Mm-hmm.
they're just getting caught up in the magic
That city.
of Fat City. Yeah. So okay, so I have been prejudiced against rich people.
Ooh,
So
that could
pet
play.
peeves, bad spelling and grammar. I don't know, just an idea. What are you thinking? Rich people that struck you good, huh? What do you?
Yeah, 100%.
So
Because
that.
like her family's probably on the more wealthier side.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, not only that, but remember when the radio mogul comes in,
Ooh.
right? So that's
So he
gonna
could be
be
like standoffish with the radio mogul too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's smart.
so. Oh yeah, here's where I put superstitions only for fun, historical references, because he's like a trivia buff. He's like
Right.
intellectual reader kind of guy and wants to make movies, and I mean, it's a pretty classic profile for a filmmaker, right?
Mhm.
Um, wants to make movies in Hollywood, no
Very good.
money. Their personal problems are both no money for the most part. Smart and knowledgeable. That's as far as I got with Bob. I didn't go to his motivations and all that, but I think that's
What do you
enough.
think his secrets are? I want to know what you think his secrets are.
I actually
Secrets and motivation.
I was just about to write down secrets. I had an idea right before we joined the meeting. I was thinking, what was it? Something. Oh, I don't know exactly. I was thinking maybe his secret is that he does have money,
Oh,
or he has like a trust that he can't access or something.
right. Like he's an heir to something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, like something like that, but I couldn't really think of what it would be, but that would be a cool.
Okay.
Actually, I mean, spoiler alert, I just gave it away. That was like that's the finale. But
What?
that's the finale of the whole series is
You find out that Bob is rich?
yeah, he's been rich the whole time. Yeah, he's just
It's like the big Scooby Doo reveal.
yeah.
He's the mogul the whole time. What?
Right.
No, I dig it, man. Okay, so moving forward.
Okay, so now we can get into elements. Now, what I wanted to ask you before we jump into talking about is I want to try to take some notes as we're talking. Is this something you think I should write directly into the format or the Bible, or just start a new notes document, I guess?
I would start a new one and just title it like Elements.
Okay, there is also
Sorry.
this questions to ask thing, but
We've never
We'll-
gone into it again.
we'll leave that separate. So just do one called elements.
Yeah. I
Okay.
would call it like episodic and story elements, or story and episodic elements. Sure.
Episodic and story elements. I get this habit of like, should I always put, for searching? I'm going to just leave it like that for now. That's good. Okay. So do you have any recommendations for headings before we start? Is there going to be certain sections?
Nah, not yet. I think
No?
we're gonna make them up as we go.
Okay. And you can see my screen, right?
Yep.
I'm going to zoom in.
Hey, that's perfect.
Cool.
Where do you want to start? What's the first part of it? Because we've already do you want to do an overview of what we've already discussed element wise, like what we were thinking? And then go into it? Or do you want to start with one and then like go to another one and go to another one? We've got the kind of like the families and casting, right?
Yeah, so there's there's two sides, right? So there's the behind the scenes and there's the show on the screen. On screen, behind the scenes. On screen, Fat City. I don't have to put Fat City over and over again. On screen, behind the scenes, and family applicants lives.
Yeah, just sure, applicants works for now.
Okay.
Do you want their backstory and history to be an element as well that we're going to draw off of? Because eventually it will be, right?
I don't know. I think it's for them more current. I'm not sure how deeply we're gonna know, because remember they're supporting characters for the most part.
No,
So,
no. I'm talking about Nancy and Bob.
oh, their backstory. Yeah.
Yeah, because these
Yeah.
are all
Yeah.
the elements. Like, forget, don't worry about the family. Like, I see all of these as independent elements that are going to be used in the show. So there's going to be on-screen stuff.
Hmm.
There's going to be behind-the-scenes stuff. There's going to be the family applicants that we're going to show. Are we going to show behind this, not behind the scenes, but backstory and
So behind the scenes is a mechanism for flashback. So
well,
it
let's break
almost
that down. Let's
goes.
break that down. Let's break down behind the scenes right now then. Let's go with
Okay.
that one first. So what is involved in the behind the scenes? The editing?
Editing tricks.
Yeah. Are they going to have it pretty much? Let's talk about that for a second. So the behind the scenes starts,
1950s
um,
technology only.
does the behind the scenes start when it gets to color, like when it turns to color, and that's behind the scenes?
Yeah, behind the scenes always color.
Now,
Always. But it doesn't always have to go always color, but doesn't always have to go from through the black and white screen.
yeah.
Right.
Like is the regular show like when we see the opening scene, right? When we see the opening scene, is it in color?
So
It
the
just
opening
looks old?
scene with the kids
girl
at
and
the
the
high
boy.
school,
Yeah.
that's in color. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Everything
Cool.
real is in color. It's only black and white on the screen.
On the screen. Cool.
Family applicants would be in color. So that yeah.
Right. So there's editing tricks. There would be, would they discuss the show and upcoming shows and whatnot? Like, remember how we were discussing stuff yesterday about it going into the screen, eventually turning to color and staying with them for a bit. Right. So like
Yeah.
when we stay for a bit, what are the things that we see? What
Well,
are the
they're
things that we're
oh
gonna
yeah, yeah.
see?
There's just their life, day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Day-to-day life.
Yeah.
There's also production meetings.
Yeah.
New Orleans city life.
Yes.
And it's interesting because you only really get to that behind the scenes because the family applicants, that's home life, right? So I'm just gonna put that there, home life.
Backstory. Do you want to put it in there?
Backstory on behind the scenes.
Yeah, for Bob and Nancy. And maybe the mogul.
Backstory. Bob, Nancy, and we didn't name the mogul yet, but
I think Marvin's a good name for that.
Marvin.
I'm just kidding.
Marvin the mogul. I mean, maybe.
Let's see what Marvin means. But keep going.
So there will be their house parties, I guess. I mean, that's behind the
Yeah.
scenes. That's also on camera.
It's a little bit of both, right?
Yeah.
So put them in both. Because there's going to be some elements where it's on screen and there's going to be some elements probably where it's behind the scenes.
Yeah. And I think the games are more on screen. Oh, but the cool thing about it goes with editing tricks, but this is going to be overlays, split screen overlays, split screen results of camera tricks or editing tricks. Okay.
Yeah, because you'll see them on the screen, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything can you do one thing for me?
What's that?
Can you bold or make the tops, the headers? Yeah. Perfect.
All right.
All right. Is there anything else we need to know about the family applicants? School life of the kids? Yes and no?
Home life,
Activity?
school life, neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I think that works for now. I mean we can just leave it room for additions, right?
maybe I almost want to say maybe family applicants internal monologue.
Okay.
So like you hear inside their heads.
Like the daughter would have been like, ooh, that would be nice to live in, or like
Yeah,
the
maybe.
mom. Yeah, okay. I mean, put it in there. Why not? If you don't use it or it doesn't get used or whatever, just, toss it.
Okay.
All right. Anything else on the black and white screen? Like, because it's the show, right?
So the show 3 minute shorts, like modern social media.
And then
Reality TV style interviews recapping previous scenes. Right, so they're gonna do that type of thing where they're gonna interview them about what happened.
yeah, and we can break down the reality TV show too, right? Like there would be elements within it. There'd be an introduction, probably like a middle, like the games that get played,
Announcer.
announcer, and
Say that again. Games. Oh, I did the games already.
it'd be an introduction of like the host. Like, you know how like would they okay, so would they have it's not necessarily like a variety show, right? But would they
No,
would they ever have like an opening monologue, or would she be singing? Like would they do some sort of like a different
they're gonna
introduction
do. Yeah,
herself?
yeah. I think they will, in a sense, have that little bit of variety flair to it because her singing and dancing will probably
Mhm.
play a role.
Right, that would be great.
Yeah.
Can Bob play the piano, you think?
They probably have a piano in the mansion, right?
I think so.
Dancing. Bob piano. I guess he can play piano. Yeah.
You can put a question mark there if you want to.
Bob piano badly.
But she makes the most of it, and people are there really to watch her for
Yeah.
the
Oh, so Bob, and this is going with like kind of the way I want to be like, think like, I'm going to put TikTok for now just to make this understand. So Nancy's dancing and singing kind of like almost appears like, like TikTok singers and dancers. Whereas Bob, I'm going to put it for him, not piano so much. It could be. I mean, that's kind of like, but he's accompanying Nancy, right?
yeah.
But for him, he's like, you know, like pearls of wisdom, right?
Okay.
Bob, pearls of wisdom and like trivia factoids. Like, so he'll just throw these things out there and make his little short videos about like going off on anything like that he read about.
Right, because none of this is live, right? So basically this whole show is going to be edited together. So that would
All
make
edited.
sense that they can put in this singing and dancing and the piano as a skit,
Yeah.
right? And then like would these be breakups between like kind of like transitions between the games and stuff? You know what I mean? Like, would you see her singing and dancing? They play a game. Bob does his pearls of wisdom. They play another game. That kind
Yeah.
of thing. Like, is it broken up that way? Do you think?
I think maybe it's almost random order. Like, I don't know how far I want to go from reality TV to like just purely like, video feed. There is a balance here. It doesn't, if we go full video feed style, it's going to be even
What do you mean
stranger.
by video feed?
Like when like any like reels or TikTok or YouTube playlists,
But what if it's just like little vignettes and then
Yeah.
there's the actual legit reality part to it though? Right? Like
Yeah.
what if those just break up? Like instead of doing like a star wipe, right? It's just like end of one game. Like I think it could be good to just sort of loosely discuss
Uh-huh.
how, so let's say that we were in this reality, okay?
Mhm.
And is it competing families or
Yeah,
is it one family at a time?
well, I think it's gonna be like King of the Hill style.
Okay, so if you last, you last, and if you don't, you don't. Is it
Yeah.
multiple families at once? Or is it
Maybe single elimination. I don't know.
right? So it could be like 3 families or 4 families that are there at a time and like they play. And then the other question that I had along with the playing games is would there be games for each family member for their strengths, or would it be like an all-encompassing, like would there be charades, Pictionary, not Pictionary, but win, lose, or draw, but something back then like that type of thing?
Charades would be good. Yeah, I
What
don't
other-
know. What
I'm
other
gonna look these
games?
up. Party games from the 1950s.
Yeah, we could look that up.
House party games. Do you want that instead? Let's see. Let's see what. Oh, that's birthday party games. We don't want those.
Clothespin in a bottle.
Yeah,
balloon relay. Oh, they could do like the egg thing.
that's
So
birthday. That's if you look at it, it's I
Yeah.
think we're looking at the same thing, and I think it says birthday party games.
Pin the tail on the donkey.
Nineteen
Bubblegum.
fifties party games. Let's look. Glass slipper dance. Never heard of this. Have everyone dance. At the end of the dance, each girl must give her shoe to her partner. The partner then takes the shoe to the center of the room and drops it in a large box. The shoes are then shaken up and the box covered with a sheet. When the music starts, the boys must walk to the box, reach in and draw out a shoe without looking into the box. Each boy can then find the girl. So that might not work then.
Yeah, but musical chairs might be cool.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, trivia. He's gonna love trivia, right? So maybe it is like little trivia sections.
Yep.
Talent shows possibly, but then who's gonna judge? I guess they can have people try to call in and judge, but they're
Well, I mean, they could judge.
they could judge too, but it's a little odd for I guess it's not I don't know. It's hard.
It's easier if it's there as a definitive winner, right?
Yeah. But with call-ins, it's like that's okay.
Can they do
In
stuff
fact, like
outside too?
I don't know, did they do call-in stuff? Like
I don't know.
when did let's look that up real quick. When did call-in? Oh, this is my thing. It's 10 hours and 45 minutes from Oklahoma City to New Orleans.
Okay. It's a decent drive.
But Oklahoma City is not really closer to, I mean, it's actually, well, you go through actually this way you don't even go through much of Texas. One route you would go through Houston. But it's like compared to Chicago, it's closer to New Orleans than Chicago. And then Denver would be roughly as close, maybe even slightly closer than New Orleans, but and there's other cities, of course, Albuquerque and but I think as far as like the closest city with action, maybe. Anyway, what was I looking for again?
We were looking for. Oh no. Uh-oh.
Gotta rewind the stream. Can we do that?
Are there people watching? Can they suggest?
I don't know. I don't have the comments open to see if anybody.
I
should do that. Let me.
Well, we were talking about 1950s party games. And then, oh my God, I totally forget.
Let me see if by miracle somebody is in the comments. I don't even think we're going. Oh yeah, we're live here. There we go. I'm gonna mute that. Okay. Anybody out there? Okay. Alrighty. So, did they do call-ins? So let's see.
Oh yeah, good call.
When did call-in TV start? I mean, they did it for call signs. Call in. Phone in. Okay. Wait. In broadcasting, phone in and call in program. The concept dates back to 1924, 25 radio. Shock jocks. They don't say much about it. I mean, obviously the technology was available. He's just going to call in.
Which would mean that then they would need, which is cool. They would need an operator.
No, it's not live anyway, right? It's just like.
Well, then how would they do call-ins?
It's not that kind of call-in. What I mean is they're just calling in to vote on who they liked best.
But isn't that passe? Like the moment that they see it on the screen, that's over, right?
What are you saying?
Like, I'll see, that's the thing. I don't know how this game is won, and I don't necessarily know how, like, does the episode run?
Well,
and then like the voters, like people watching it, vote for which family they like the best?
You know how
or is it based in gameplay?
Can you see this on the screen? Can you see I'm moving this box around? Or you don't see that?
Hold on, what box are you talking about?
It's a picture. It's my, you know how I'm framed in a TV right now?
Yeah.
Okay. You see how there's dials on the TV?
Yeah.
All right. Now this might be really weird, but I'm thinking they would do something like put a TV overlay inside of some of the scenes. Just for like, because they're going to be watching it on a projector, right? And a projector doesn't have dials and stuff, right? So, and for rephotographing, now the reason I'm saying this is dials on a TV are very much like buttons on a, on a website app or whatever. So what I was thinking is they would have people call in and then like they would change the dial on that video. Like they would play the same video like over and over again, week to week. And the dial could show how many, like, is it from 1 to 10 popularity? So like the most popular videos of these families.
But how did the people know to call in if they're seeing it on the TV screen for the first time?
Because the announcer tells them like, call in, like.
No, I understand that. But what I'm saying is that like, this is where, okay, so I'm confused at how the show runs. I don't actually know how the show runs. So to me, people calling in, it feels like it's not like American Idol where you call in and the next day they do something live, right? It's more so that, like, I don't know what they're calling
It's
in.
closer to like clicking a like button on an
But
app.
the thing is that it's too late by then. Like, don't we want, like,
No.
here's what I was thinking. Like, this is my impression of what the show is. So then I need to
Yeah.
be corrected.
Okay.
I thought that at the end of each episode, someone would win that episode.
Well, that's from the games.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't know what
Yeah.
the dial part is
They
for.
to even get to the, like, you know, get into the finals, they probably have to be like popular. You know, it's just like,
But I'm still can see. But that's the thing is, so would they show people from previous shows and go like, this is how popular they were? Because like, this is how it's going. This is how it's playing in my head. So
Yeah.
I'm watching the show and it says call in, but the show's been taped.
yeah.
So I'm calling in to voice my opinion on that. So I'm not going to see my opinion show until a later episode.
Oh, it's just always like, it's always running.
No, but what I'm saying is that if it's taped, it's not live, right? So if it's taped,
Yeah.
it's not going to lodge
I mean,
like,
it's just like an app, man. You know, like,
but it's not like an app. This is the 50s. That's not how it works back then.
it's basically the same though. If you see a video and you like it,
But
you call
I
in.
get that. But what I'm saying is that, again, let's say that you and I were sitting at home watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
That show was done in the past.
Yeah.
It's not real time, right? So when are my results going to get shown?
If they decide to play the video again. But
That
that's going to be
doesn't-
the thing. They're going to be playing these videos, like
What videos are they playing though?
the little short clips of these families, like dumb things they do, whatever they say. Like it's like social media meets reality.
So
That's why
but
these
that's what I was
families
asking.
start.
So like,
Yeah.
let's say that I'm watching a show and two families are competing in the games. Would there be like a cut scene with the TV screen and the dials showing a family from previous?
It's not even yeah, it's all previous, but
But that
what I'm
would be
saying
the
is
only way they
it's random order. It's kind of like you never know what's going to show up in the feed, right?
No, but I get it. I just don't think that it's making logical sense, at least not to me, based on the idea that you can't show me calling in, right? If it's taped, right? And I'm calling in, that doesn't mean that I'm calling in at the time of the taping of that show, which means that they don't have the data for them to do that in real time to have the same thing being in the same show. It would have to show up in a later episode. And it can't happen in that day.
But they're not even in the game until they're popular.
Well, that's okay. Then we need to talk about application process because I don't understand it at all. How do they get on the show?
So they get invited to like a party, right?
But they have to apply first, right?
They have to
So,
apply, yeah.
so what's the application process like? Let's go there.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's talk about that because like
So that could go behind the scenes, I guess, right?
behind the scenes and maybe
Application
Yeah.
and also it's under family, I
Yeah.
guess.
yeah.
It's just gonna be weird to duplicate it for both, but I guess we'll just do that at least. Yeah, so they call in,
Put
they
it with the family.
they
Just
have
put it
an
with the
interview.
family.
So application process, call in, comma, interview, maybe a phone interview.
Would they call in or would it be a mail-in application?
No, have them call in. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that would get out of control, but
I think so.
you know, that's when they're gonna have more help.
But they would get a call in for
that's
the
like
radio.
where-
The radio.
That's
The
where
the radio place would probably take the calls, right?
at that point, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that's where Nancy is like the casting manager, so she's gonna really talk to a lot of the people.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna coach them, you know, whereas Bob's concerned with the camera most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So what I think is they do get to go to the party, invited to party. And just because they're invited to the party doesn't mean that they're competing. Invited to party
Or two when it's the party.
favorited by home audience.
Are the parties and the reality show two different things then? Like would they have party shows?
The
Where they would
party
show the guests and whatnot, and then from that they've been like, call in and vote for the family that you want to see on the reality show.
Well, it's just like the little 3-minute shorts, you know, they're just all different things.
But when did those happen? Are they part of the reality show or are they on the side?
It's all
I think that's where I'm getting confused because I see them as two different things. Like I see the party stuff leading and the like recruiting into the bigger show.
That's a lot of behind the scenes, right? I mean, you don't necessarily know what they're going to show on the show. They're going to take the best stuff.
But what I'm saying is that that doesn't matter to me. What matters is to me, it's more the logical process. Like, let's say that we were running the show. Let's say that you and I were creating the show for the husband and wife.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we have the application process, which I like the idea of it being, they call in, they have a phone interview, they get invited to the party, right? And then from the party, right, maybe they get people to call in again, and whichever people that they like the most out of that, the party, get invited to the reality TV show. So like, to me, they're kind of like,
it's all happening at the party.
But that doesn't make sense. Because it's
not
live. But it's not live.
It doesn't need to be live. So you're not listening. I think there's the main families, right, that are actually competing. The other party goers are like still in application phase.
Right. Okay. So they're just sort of like filling. They're like extras there.
They're extras. Yeah.
Right. And so
it's sort of like the Price is Right, like you get come on down, like except it's from a week to week basis.
Right.
So
but but this still plays like this one part. I don't like, so what we would see on the screen if we were watching it in that world would have been because like, okay, so think about it this way. We're watching the show, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, call in now to vote for this person, or call in now to vote for this person. I do think that.
No, it doesn't have to be right then and there.
Well, no, but I understand that. But the thing, what I'm saying is that the results wouldn't show up until later.
They don't even have to show up.
But what is the dial for then?
When they decide to show it again.
I don't understand why. What do you mean when they decide? Wouldn't the call in just initiate the people that would be on the next episode? But here's the other thing too. So in game show world, they run like, let's say Family Feud.
Yeah.
They do like 6 to 8 episodes a day or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Right. A day. And then they air those Monday to Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So they do like a week's worth of episodes in one day.
Right.
Right. So would they do the same thing, or would they do, because like, again, and if we're going to run it, if it's consecutive shows, so like you watch one show, then the next show comes on, and the next show, and the next show, and the next show.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I don't know if Colin would work with that if they're kind of just showing show after show after show after show, especially if they become like reruns too.
Yeah.
Right. When I mean Colin, I mean like call in to go like, oh, I want to see these people on the show, not call in to be on it. Right. Like that's why I was wanting to get into the technicalities of it, because I think that it'll help write the rest of the show if we understood how the reality show, not how it looks on the screen, but how it actually runs the process of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you would have, so how would the people get selected at the beginning? How would the first, how many families would be competing at once, do you think?
2.
Two. Okay. How did those 2 families get selected the first time?
Well, one of them's the previous winner.
But there is no previous winner yet.
It's just their friends. They're faking it.
Okay. So the first episode's a fake, which I love.
Yeah.
Right. That could be like one of their secrets. I actually dig that. That actually adds elements to it. Right. So then one family wins, and it doesn't matter which one. Right. And then they select the next family to come in.
So there's also an evolution of this whole thing. It doesn't start out like the same game. They're just doing parties, and like if you win, you could stay here for the weekend. It's not really to win the house.
Well, I kind of think that should remain, and then at the end have like, you know what would be cool for a call-in type thing? Have people call in to vote for the family that they like the best to return at the end to face off with each other.
Yeah, like they're gonna tabulate.
Yeah.
Like the whole season.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Right. And then you can do the whole like the in different episodes, you can do the dialed thing with like showing, you know, like where those families are.
I mean, I kind of think a lot of that it doesn't matter too much because they're just gonna make up the whole thing.
So like the call-in doesn't really matter?
No, they're just like
okay. But does the call-in give them an idea of like what people like?
Yeah. So they're
like
using it, but
it's like the popular vote in
and
America.
also he's not gonna, Bob's not gonna want to have to re-edit that screen every time. So he might just like make up numbers, because he has to manually like turn like a real dial and then like refilm it with a projector screen behind it.
Oh, I thought it would just be set. Like how you see how yours are set?
Yeah.
Right. And I would have just been like number 1, number 2, number 3. Like that's like ranking the families on like where they are in their chances of being on the finale.
It's set. Yeah, it's set.
Yeah.
But but still, like, because they're gonna be playing the same old video.
But wouldn't he just sort of like, couldn't he template that?
Yeah, but he has to rephotograph it. If he wants to change, like if he wants to play, I mean, unless I'm not thinking about this right, but if he wants to take a video of like a family doing a song together, like singing a song, and they were 2, their score was 2, and like everybody called in, and now their score has to go to 5, maybe. He would have to like rephotograph that whole thing again with just the number being 5 now.
No, I get that. That's not at all what I was imagining in my head. What I was imagining was they would be, through the shows, they would be giving the people at home an update on, and it doesn't have to be them like the family singing a song. It could just be like an image of the family smiling, or like an image of like one of the family members doing something, right? But it's not necessarily that, but I would assume that Bob would have templates for 1, 2, and 3. I don't think he would need anything after that.
Well, I think it goes from 1 to 10, right? Or how many channels are on this thing?
Well, I get that, but what I'm saying is that I don't think we would necessarily have to show past the 3rd people, right? For 2nd and 3rd.
It's not like their place. It's like how.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Well, right? There's 2 dials, so I thought one would be, like a scale of 1 to 10, like how great they are, and then the other one can be maybe what level they're at, or I don't know.
But then that would be so you would see an image, you would watch the show, call in, vote on a specific thing, because they'd probably give you a prompt to call in on, like, blah blah blah, call this number, whatever it is, and say this number, right? Because that's what you're going to be voting on, or but giving your rating on, right?
Mhm.
But the rating wouldn't be shown until another episode where they're updating it on that family. Like, oh, results from previous shows.
Yeah, well, it's just like in the video feed.
Right, but they can't update that show in real time. It has to be on another show later, right?
Yeah.
Right. But I don't.
So we were talking about this thing's just an all day Tuesday
Yeah.
thing, right? But I don't know about all day Tuesday. Maybe that
Well,
is a
what if
little
it's
out
like
of control.
what if it's 2 hours? Right, from 4 to 6.
4 to 6 on Tuesdays. Okay.
Yeah.
3
Right.
to 3 to 5.
3 to 5, 3:30 to 5:30.
But only
Right.
on Tuesdays, right?
Only on Tuesdays.
Okay.
Only on Fat Tuesdays.
Yeah. You can, I mean, that's a lot of videos, a lot of little 2-minute videos.
But I don't think it has to just be like what if though, like, you only have a few of those little videos, but you had more of a reality feel to
Yeah.
it. So like some of the games could be like 5 minutes.
Sure.
Right.
I'm just
Like
talking.
that.
I'm just talking about the videos with the TV.
I would say that
dials.
those would probably only need to be like 20 seconds.
Well, yeah,
Right.
maybe.
Because they're not voting on those.
No, those are the ones.
are the
Those are the ones that they vote on.
But that doesn't make sense to have the dial then.
Why not?
Because wouldn't the dials be their ranking, like the rating for it?
Yeah.
Right. So like in a previous show, they would say like call in to rate this. Right.
No,
So
you just call in. You call in, and you can talk. You say everything. It's the same number. You call in. I want to apply.
No, I get
like.
that, but what I'm saying is that
Yeah.
I think we have our wires crossed, because to me, it sounds like the rating thing is going to update in the same show, and that doesn't make sense to me.
No,
Because it's
it doesn't do. It doesn't do that. Why do you keep thinking that?
Well, because I don't understand why a scene that you would like. I don't know how. Like, I don't know why there would be a number or a dial up on the screen.
Yeah.
When they're seeing the video for the first time. That
No, they
doesn't
see it every week. They're just playing the same videos.
They're the same videos?
Yeah, just like on
Wouldn't it
any.
be-
Don't when you look at your video feed, don't you see the same videos multiple times?
No,
Oh, I do.
no.
Like
but
people.
but the other thing though, wouldn't they be voting on, like, so let's say that in between each game, there's a short video from a family that was on the show previously or was in that episode, right? And so like in that, you don't need the dial or anything like that. You just need them to call in and rate that one video. So the next time that you see it, it's kind of like an updated going like, this is what, this is what this is what Fat City thought about this. And this is the rating. And like, you really would only need like a 20-second clip showing that, like reviewing that and going like, this is where it was. Like, this is it. You ranked it a 5, or you ranked it a 10, or you ranked it a 1.
Yeah.
Right. But it would happen in a follow-up episode or a later episode. Right. So like that week, maybe 4 episodes get played of Fat City. And then the next week, right, which would mean that they would have a would they be able to turn around 4 episodes per week, do you think? Or would the results come in like a couple weeks later for the ratings?
I don't. It's not like that. It's just an ongoing thing.
What do you mean it's not like that?
It's just kind of like the videos circulate around, and
On
it could
what?
be for months even.
I think I'm super, dude. I honestly, I think I'm just super confused.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share with you how I've imagined this from the start, and I think that I'm completely wrong then. So I'm thinking that it's a
I
half-hour
mean,
show,
this is an afterthought. Okay, it's like this little video thing.
right?
Isn't
But I
yeah.
think it's important to break down how the show actually would run if we were to watch it. So the way that I was visualizing it in my head
Yeah.
was that there'd be an introduction. The announcer would announce the show. The husband and wife would come out. Probably there would be a skit, or like they would introduce the families and then go to a skit. They might actually do a skit first for the husband and wife to do their
Mhm.
thing, like
Yeah.
Nancy singing, Bob juggling poorly, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Then they would introduce the families that are going to be competing, and then have the other families there that are applying, right? It would cut to maybe another skit just to break into the games, and then they would start to play the games. And when the
Mhm.
game is over, right, they would do a video that says, hey, call in to rate this, rate which family you liked best, or rate the family, rate, give this a rating, right? And then it would cut to the next game, and they would play out that game and do the next, like that
I
would
mean,
be like
I kind of think that the videos would go at the beginning, just kind of like as a, um,
What are
coming.
the transitions in between games then? And
Like
and how many
little.
games and how many games would they be playing per episode?
I think it depends on what the games are. It's not really so. It's like all right. So it's a 2-hour episode, right? Basically,
It's
once a week, right? 2
but
hours.
is it what, 2 families competing for 2 hours?
They might only be competing for like 10 minutes.
See, I thought okay, so I'm glad that we're clearing this up. Like, this is why I wanted to discuss how the show would work, because I thought
Yeah.
it was a 30-minute episode per families. So like 2 families competed and they were on screen for 30 minutes.
Well, we were saying 30 minutes before, but now that we're fitting it all into one day instead of 5 days a week.
But what if it's just 4 30-minute episodes? Right? Or 4 22-minute episodes? 'Cause there would
Maybe.
probably be commercials, right?
No, there's no commercials.
Not on. How does Homeboy get his money?
I mean, maybe they have sponsors.
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think there's commercials.
Well,
I
I
mean,
think it would be
even back
cool.
then they didn't really have commercials. They had like
No,
sponsors.
sponsors work
Yeah.
with the let's say that, like, the games, if whoever wins it, they can take home like a like, so there's like, they'd be sponsored by, let's say, Hoover or whatever it is, and if
Mhm.
they win, they would take home a vacuum in
Yeah.
that one game. Like kind of like Price is Right type style, where like if you vote or you say the right numbers, you get that, or you go on stage and you win a prize.
Mhm.
I think that could be cool, right? But I do think that it could be, because then it would lead to the next week having 4 more new episodes with new families, and like those would be the families that you saw at the party, right? So like maybe they would film all 4 of the episodes that they would show the next week, or let's say 2 weeks later, because it might
Mhm.
take Bob some time to edit. They would show, right? So like they would film all 4 of those in 1 week and then air it maybe 2 weeks later, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be no necessarily direct correlation between what's really happening at these parties and what's on the screen. Like, so they could be showing footage of like different parties as if it was all the same party.
Doesn't that seem super messy though?
What's messy about it? Like continuity?
Well, I don't know who wins then. Like I was looking at more as like a reality
No.
show and game show combined. So like every episode you'd see two families going up against each other, kind of like Family
Mhm.
Feud,
Okay, yeah, there's two families, right?
right? And that would be the whole episode. But in the background, there you'd see the families that would be competing, like in the next, like you would see like there would be, let's say that there's
Mhm.
8 families all there, right? And
Okay.
2 families would head off against each other, or like maybe there's no, let's not say that. Maybe there's because the winner would probably stay over, right? So or like stay to the next episode or something like that. Like I don't, that's where decisions would have to be made. But I really like, I feel like it would be messy if everything was edited into, so like let's say that you have families 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you saw a game and families 1 and 2 were facing off each other, but you saw clips of families 3 and 4 facing off against each other, that wouldn't make sense in the same episode.
Yeah, they don't do that.
But that's what it sounds like you were saying, though.
No, I didn't say that. There's like the videos and all the things that they're doing are just like, I mean, that's the bulk of what the game is, not even the bulk of the show.
Oh,
Right.
I thought the games were the bulk of I don't know what the videos are.
The videos are just people doing, it's like little social media videos, whatever they want to do.
Why? I guess that's where I'm confused. I thought the party games were why the mogul liked it.
No, he just likes that too, but
Right? I thought that's how they won the house, was through the games.
yeah, but there's only 2 families competing on that, like at any given
But
week.
that's what I was saying. That's
Yeah.
I'm on board with you there. But I guess
So it's not like 4 30-minute episodes. It's like 1 2-hour episode. Right?
I
Because you're
guess
only
that's
gonna
where I'm confused.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I
like,
mean, it was going to be 30-minute episodes, right? So I'm changing it now. So maybe that's where the confusion is.
I
But
think so. So tell me, okay, so I'll be quiet for
but
a
it's
second.
much more okay. Yeah. So it's much more about the interviews that they do and the videos. It's like, what do these families want to show to the world? To prove that they're the most liked and that they should get a chance to win this house.
Okay, is there criteria for it? Or is it just
I
popularity?
mean, think about like Survivor and like
I
you know,
understand. I don't watch those shows though. And
Real
Survivor, but
World.
here's the
Like
thing,
Real Worlds
Survivor,
didn't even have games, right? It was just like,
but they were all people just living in the house under one roof.
yeah, this is
Right?
more like
but
that.
they were like living in it run of show. And that would be cool. I think that would be super dope. Right. But right. If that was the case, like like 4 families under
that's
one
a
roof.
big part of about what this is.
But then they don't need any other applicants. They don't need any like
They
would
do, because it's like King of the Hill. They got to stay. One
but then
of the families is going to drop. They do have to figure out a new family every week to bring in.
every
that-
week, but if every week there's a 2-hour episode, wouldn't they need more than one family coming in? Wouldn't only one family survive out of the 4 families that were there?
There's many more families, but there's only 2 that are competing. Right,
What
so
are the other
everybody
fam-
else is just at the party.
But what do they do? What do the other people do?
They're at the party trying to win the hearts of New Orleans to
And
be able to stay there for the following week, I guess,
to
or whatever.
participate?
To participate, yeah.
So only 2 families are playing games for 2 hours.
Well, they're playing games all week
Who are?
or all weekends because they're living there for the week.
Oh, see, and that's a new like I didn't think about that either, because I really just thought they were there for the taping of the show.
No. If you get to be in the show, it's like more like two families living together for the week. So there's going to be all sorts of like they're going to be filming them all week. That's when they get into starting to script and like create little dramatic scenes and things like that. Right? It's a reality show, but it's like scripted just like a reality show would be. And then of course they give them little games. They give them little games to do to make it appear like there's like some kind of competition, but
So the games don't matter. The games are meaningless.
I
So I
mean,
should just drop that.
maybe the games do matter, but it's not the bulk of the show. The games are only the deciding factor. That's more like Survivor, how like, they do have to play a game to not get eliminated. But then there's the tribunal in Survivor, so you can like vote people off. I mean, I don't know. There's different dynamics to that, but
Right, kind of like Big Brother, where
a
you
lot
can
of
get the
yeah, a lot of it though is like the human story of the people, right? So you're not like spending the whole time playing a game. You're
Mhm.
really like interviewing them and observing them. And
I feel like that's so much work for Bob to do, to edit that,
yeah, it would be a lot of work probably.
like a ton. Like they
Yeah.
wouldn't doubt that, because like on shows where I worked on, it took them for a 30-minute episode. It took them
Mhm.
probably like a week to edit.
Yeah, they're doing digital though. Back in the old days, you just splice up some film and stitch it
Right,
together.
but even back then, it took time.
No, I know it's harder, especially with rephotographing and
Yeah,
the
right. So it would probably take, like,
I'm having him do all these camera and editing tricks that nobody would have done. Yeah,
right,
it's crazy.
and like within a really crunch, like Bob, in all honesty, deserves an Academy Award for his editing for this show,
Yeah.
right? Because like, and he's a one-person team doing it, so like,
Well, maybe not. I mean, he probably gets by the time they're actually on the air.
they'd have a production team that would
Yeah,
help
yeah.
them.
All
Okay.
he's doing is he's kind of experimenting and he has a projector at these parties, so he's just showing the old films. He's showing his cool camera tricks. Maybe he makes the TV screen thing to joke and say like, "Oh, look, they got a giant TV,"
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it's gonna be like a 4-foot projector screen, right, or whatever it is. Probably not even probably like a 3-foot projector screen, but
Okay. So I think I kind of am getting what you're looking. So basically, at the end of it, what's important is for the people that are watching the show to call in and basically, I'm gonna use my terms in a sense for it, but vote for their favorite family
yeah,
of the two.
not even of the two, of like all the other
But like,
little videos.
how do we know who continues of the two families?
By who wins the game?
Okay. But is it a community? Like, is it one game or is it a multiple of games where like, kind of like,
I think it could be
5?
a surprise. They never know what game. It's a challenge or a game. They never
But
know.
is it only like one game or is it like a combination of games? Like,
maybe they get points throughout the week for different things.
right?
I think it's always going to have to change. I mean, that's the thing that's interesting about it. It's like you never know what it's going to be.
I get that. I think part of the problem here is my ordered brain just feels like that's a nightmare
Uh-huh.
for things like for me. If let's say that I was the producer, let's say that I was the mogul, right?
Yeah.
I would want to control as much as I possibly could of it so that that I could guide the direction. Right.
Uh-huh.
So I would put in as much, I would put in order to it. Like if you watch those shows, you watch Survivor, there's always a format. There's a legit format to it, right? Where they show the contestants a bit and then they play a game. And then they show the contestants more and then they play a game. Right. And then they vote for somebody off. right? Like there's a format to it. There's a formula, and that's every week.
Yeah,
So
but
that people
they
come
might
back
not film
and-
it that way though.
What do you mean they might not film it that way?
You don't know what order
Like,
they're
You mean
filming things in,
Survivor
or
filming it, or Bob
any
filming it?
game show.
No, I understand that. What I'm saying is on the screen. I'm talking about the people watching the show,
Hmm.
right? Right. The format of the show
Yeah.
is, right, you start Survivor, right, and they do a recap. This is what I remember from Survivor. They do a recap, and then they go into, and there's two teams.
Yeah.
Right. And you go into camp 1 and they're bitching and complaining to each other. You go into camp 2, they're bitching and complaining to each other.
Right.
And then there's like isolated people bitching and complaining to each other on both teams. Right. So you're building those characters up, right? Which I think is great.
That's what we're gonna do.
Right. And
with
then
the
they
families.
play, and then they play a game. Right. And whoever wins that game usually gets like immunity or something.
Or
like
they get a little
they get
perk
food
or something.
they get like, they might get like their team might get food dropped to them, or they
Yeah.
get shelter for the night or something like that, right? So which could be cool, right? And then we go back to camp 1 bitching and complaining to each other,
Mhm.
right? Camp 2 bitching and complaining to each other, go back and forth, and then you play the there was usually like 2 games minimally in Survivor, right? There was the team event where you won something for your team, and then there was like the individual event where you won immunity,
Mhm.
right? And you couldn't get voted off. And then after the game, you would see people bitching and complaining a little bit more, and then you would have a vote. But that would happen every single show, like every
Okay.
single episode. You knew when you were watching it what you were going to get. If they changed that up every single show, that would be too chaotic for people.
But I didn't say that. I just said that the games would be different.
Oh no, that's fine. I was saying
Yeah.
I'm looking more for like the format of the show.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you want me to tell you? Or like, it's the videos, and
Mhm.
then
Where do the videos come? They come
right at the
very
beginning, they're just
Okay.
videos playing.
Okay. And then what happens next?
Then the announcer, like,
Like, do the videos come on
explains
before the
game.
host?
Yeah, the videos are just playing.
Before the host come out?
Yeah, why not? It's just
Okay.
videos playing.
The videos playing.
It's more like a social media feed, it's like videos, like, so that way if you're late.
I think I'm lost on that because I
Yeah,
can't
no,
go
it makes
up or down.
perfect sense, because that way if you're late to come watch, it's a 2-hour thing or 4-hour thing that happens once a week, and they're gonna start off with some videos. It's like MTV or something, it's like videos playing.
Okay. And there'd be like 10 minutes of that?
Yeah, something like
minutes
that, right?
Okay. And would that be every single episode? They would just start with videos like,
Yeah,
okay, cool.
and then
Is
the announcer can do a recap, maybe announce and recap what's going on with the families, and then introduce the hosts, and then the hosts can,
talk to the families probably, right?
well, maybe they talk amongst themselves and like have their opinions, like
Okay.
behind,
Would
like
they
behind the
have kind
family's
of like
back.
a monologue?
Well,
like a-
yeah,
Like
I
a
guess
TV, like a late night show kind of monologue or something. Like Steve Harvey even does it too, I think, on Family Feud.
something like that. Well, they'd be talking to each other,
Right. But
Yeah.
in front of the camera facing it.
right?
Or would they be talking to each other, reality TV show, and it would be like cutting back and forth from each other?
I don't
Which
know.
one
I
do
think
you think?
they're breaking the fourth wall more than
Okay. I like that. I dig
Yeah.
it. So they're like legit hosts talking to the people watching the show.
at home. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. I like that. So videos and this is my process of like remembering things, right? So like I always go
Should be
back to
writing
the
this stuff
beginning
down.
and go through it 100%.
This is on black and white on screen
Yeah.
show format.
Yeah. Perfect. You could even, if you wanted to, put a space between those and make it its own thing within on the black and white screen. Yeah. Perfect. I think I was just caught up in the old design of it.
Mhm.
And because we haven't had that, like it feels like you had all of these ideas in your head, but I didn't get the memo. I think my fax machine's broken.
Yeah. Oh, it's the
And
50.
so
It's the 50s, man. You got to answer the phone.
I wasn't home, and I don't have an answering machine because they didn't exist
Didn't
until
exist.
like
Yeah.
the 70s.
Is that one? Answering machines started in the 70s.
I don't know.
Okay. Show format, short videos of potential family contestants.
Okay.
Dial indicator of popularity. I want to like say like think America's funniest /
Okay.
/ TikTok. I don't know. Shortest videos or just potential contestants. You know what that is. That's fine. Okay. And then announcer recap.
The dial indicator of popularity, those would just be made up numbers, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some kind of truth to it, but it's just from 1 to 10. So it gives people at home an idea of how popular these families are.
But would these numbers, the dial indicator, be from a previous episode where people have called in?
Yeah, they play the same videos every week then. It's like the videos are repetitive.
That's kind of what I was trying to, but that's totally cool if like, but that's the thing is like maybe.
I mean, it's not always the same order. It's not always the same videos, but there's like a rotation of videos.
But it's kind of the same families.
Well, no, like there's always different families. These are like if you get invited to the party, there might be, it's kind of weird. Now, this is kind of weird because there's families and it's this nightlife party kind of thing too. Like they're probably not like it's gonna be G-rated party, I guess, but it's still gonna be a little wild, right? It's like Fat City. I don't know if the parents are gonna be drinking or not.
But is it only at night?
I don't think like you could drink on TV as well.
I'm
not sure.
think so. You probably could smoke before you could drink on TV.
Yeah.
So
announcer recap with go ahead. You could talk. I'm just
yeah, I was wondering, is there going to be daytime activities too? Like daytime games?
That's like so the daytime stuff is more when the families are by themselves, the two that live there. They're gonna have breakfast together. They're gonna
would they compete against each other without the other families there?
There's gonna be little games throughout the day.
We
didn't get to that part yet, right?
Okay,
And then announcer recap with was it previous footage?
Yeah.
This footage. Announcer introduces.
Would the announcer intercut with the video? Right, like you'd hear the announcer a bit, then see a video, hear the announcer, see a video. Like as the video's going?
No, the videos are just going. I mean, maybe the announcer might say, remind them to call in.
Okay.
Yeah. But the videos in the beginning are just kind of like a preview, like before the show. It's like
okay.
Host. I mean, the weird thing is I don't know if you're ever going to see this show. Because, unless we're going to like have a 2-hour.
Why not?
Thing.
I say at least one. For fun. Like I wanted for Food Town.
Yeah.
Or let's say for any of my shows. let's say that they're reading a comic book. I want to do the comic book too. And I want to release the comic book out to people to be able to read.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Right. So like, I think it would be really neat for people to be able to see one episode of Fat City. Right. Maybe like whole season goes, like the whole, like people in our world watch the whole season. And then there's this special episode of Fat City where you get to see an actual full show.
Yeah.
What it would look like. I think that would be really cool.
That'd be pretty neat. I mean, that would leave you wanting more though, because one show is not enough. You got to see the whole season.
Exactly.
You got to see the whole thing, the whole series, like till somebody wins the house. So,
but how cool would it be if that is the case, and then you do a whole sub series of those? That can be done, dude. Like that could legitimately be done.
Was it gonna be in the 1950s, or we're just gonna do it in modern time?
I would do it in 1950s.
So we're gonna just fake the 1950s.
100%.
With real families.
Yeah, they do it all the time.
But with real families, right?
No, actors.
Like I think it should be like we'll just do the show for real.
Oh, I was thinking that it would all be fake, scripted.
Fat City the game.
But you know what? It would almost be cool to do the reality TV show, because like in the party games, they talk about dressing up.
What do you mean?
What if you got people to like in this document that I sent in the chat, it talks about dressing
I didn't even see this chat.
I send stuff sometimes.
I can't see it when I'm on
right, like if you scroll.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, right. You're talking about they're doing this thing with the shoes in the box. No, that?
Keep going. Just keep scrolling.
Yeah.
Keep going. See how it says like 50s decorations, 50s party, like Arab music. So like Elvis, American Graffiti, like they're showing people how to run a 1950s era party.
Oh, okay.
Right. So like if you see it, 1950s activities, but there was a section on like, maybe it wasn't a different one, but they talked about costumes. Let's keep going. Scroll down a bit more. Okay, yeah, see 50s party costumes. Right, so like they wanted people, like when you go to this 50s party, like if you were to throw a 1950s party, you get people to dress up for that party.
Yeah.
So what if that's the same for you know, if it, like the actual game, if you wanted to have,
it's kind of like you got to dress up all crazy in costumes for The Price is Right. Right? Is that the one?
Oh no. That's the one where you have to choose between 1, 2, and 3. Door number 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking about.
What game am I thinking of then? It's
I used to watch it all the time.
Yeah.
You keep working on this. I'll find that out.
I want to finish up. We're almost basically done, but I want to just finish up the rest of that show format.
Yeah, let's go.
The format for the format. We started about 15 minutes late, so I guess we do have technically
we can
a little longer.
I say we can go to 10:20, 10:30. I'm cool with that.
Oh
wait, that's 10:30 my time.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just want to at least just finish this up. There's only a few more lines of it probably. So hosts speak they do like what do you call a monologue with two people? It's not a dialogue, but
the show called Let's Make a Deal.
Let's Make a Deal. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. What is it called when two hosts do a monologue?
A routine.
Let's see. Yeah, you were right the first time when you said a dialogue.
That's so wrong now, but whatever.
That's what this is saying. Like, well, a monologue is
dialogue about
a dialogue is a conversation that occurs between two or more characters.
Yeah, we'll just say they dialogue about the current families. Then so they dialogue about the current families intercut with scenes of the two families' daily footage. And then mini games during the day to get a bonus at night.
I'm gonna be right back. I'm just gonna go get water.
Party at night. With main game for the day. Bob and Nancy do a variety routine. Well, I think that's pretty close. Well, I don't know. I guess that was pretty productive for today. I think I'm just gonna end it here. Yeah. So I'll do my homework, and these story elements, episodic elements it's pretty good. It filled in a bunch more. I think we're gonna experiment with some beats. Maybe we'll experiment with some beats next week. It's sort of what this was, the show format, kind of like beats for the show. Find your love here. Okay. Thank you from YouTube. Quite kind of you to join me. Okay, so until next time, this is script writing from the ground up. We did experimenting with elements. Next week, tentatively, we might be working on some minor story beats. And join us on Tuesday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you.
Yo, I'm back. I had to go get water.
I just basically did you have anything else to add? I just was closing out the live stream, but did you want to say something?
No. Here, I just want to go over this. Short videos of potential contestants dialing. Okay, cool. So that would be like the first little bit. Everyone's just sort of like settling in at home and whatnot. And then the announcer does a recap of the footage. Announcer introduces the host. That's cool. We get to see them. They do a dialogue about the current families. Would they also do a dialogue for themselves? Like funny little bits or like something that shows their talents? Remember how like you were talking about like words of wisdom or Nancy singing? Or is that
Yeah,
this is
that's
the
at the
bottom here.
end. I got them doing a variety routine at the end, but
Okay.
the pearls of wisdom thing is part of the short videos, I think.
Okay.
Like
Mini
it's
games.
just in there.
I think this is a good start.
Yeah.
No, I think this is good. Now, my question to you is this when you brought up the idea of doing elements and whatnot, is this kind of what you were hoping to get?
Yeah, I mean it's more expansive than I was prepared with before, so this is good.
Mhm.
So what I was just closing out this live stream saying that tentatively might be working on minor story beats next week, which this kind of is like story beats for their show.
Yeah.
So
So it'll kind of be similar to
yeah.
what we do next week. I like that. Let's do it.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. So now I'm just trying to figure out how to end the live stream without
Canceling it.
yeah, let's see, go under more.
Thanks everybody
Uh-oh.
for watching and listening.
Stop the screen share. I'm going to stop the live stream now. Okay.